Well, now to London, where police are looking into a possible terror attack. A car plowed into a crowd, then rammed a gate outside of Parliament. At least 3 pedestrians were hurt, and the suspect has been arrested. Police say that he's a man in his late 20s, and there was no one else inside the car at the time of the crash. CBS News foreign correspondent Debora Patta joins us now from the scene just outside of Parliament. Deborah, what do we know so far about exactly what happened?
Well, Rena, it began in the early hours of this morning, around 7:37 London time, when the driver of the vehicle drove towards the Houses of Parliament. He ploughed into a group of cyclists who were waiting for a traffic light to change and some pedestrians, and then he veered and hit the security barriers that are placed along this as an anti-terrorist device in this area, and that possibly did prevent further fatalities or any fatalities from happening in this particular incident. The driver, eyewitnesses say, looked straight ahead, and it seemed to be deliberate. He accelerated as he drove down the road, deliberately heading for the security barrier where his journey was brought to an end.
What do we know about the suspect at this point?
Well, he is a man of the age of 29 years old. He drove the car that was used in this attack from Birmingham. Last night it arrived in London in the very early hours of this morning, just after midnight. And around 6 a.m. London time, he drove around the area where the attack took place, circling it until the actual event took place at 7:37. Police say he is not cooperating with the investigation at this stage, and they are treating it as a terrorist attack, as a deliberate attack. We also know that they are searching 3 addresses outside of London, 2 of those in Birmingham, where the car was driven from. Rena?
And Deborah, what about the victims? Well, how are they doing?
Well, there were 3 people. 2 were taken to hospital, but they have now been discharged. And the injuries seem to have been fairly minor. There are no life-threatening injuries. And again, as I said, security experts seem to think that the security measures, the barriers that are in place near Westminster, is probably what prevented further casualties.
Deborah, as you well know, London is no stranger to these kinds of terrorist attacks. How has the government handled the threat in recent years, and have they learned from the recent ones?
Well, 18 months ago, not far from where this attack took place, was the other attack on Westminster on the bridge, in which a driver ploughed into pedestrians, killing 4 people. He then got out of the car and stabbed a police officer. And since then, those security barriers have been erected. I think what was also impressive today was literally within seconds, police were on the scene. They'd surrounded the car, drawn their guns, and they'd arrested the suspect. They were very quick to react. It looked very well rehearsed and very organized, and efficiently they took the man, led him away in handcuffs. So a very, very quick response from the London police.
Debora Patta, thank you so much for joining us, Deborah.